Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, and in this video, we're going to talk about what Band News Network just did. They put out this article on December 10th, 2022. It's from Zero Hedge, but of course, they regurgitated it because they will not give you any good environmental information. They will not expose all of the fraudulent environmental voices out there, nor will they help you understand this planet that you live on. Okay, so right here, there's an article that DNA from 2 million years ago reveals an Arctic utopia that was 50 to 60 degrees warmer. Okay, and this article doesn't really talk about anything about that warmer temperature. It just talks about the DNA that they discovered. Okay, but the thing is, that may sound great. Okay, so hey, we're gonna go to the Arctic and we're gonna sunbathe and swim, and they're gonna be holding the Summer Olympics. Okay, well, not so fast. Okay, um, there is such a thing that is called a global average temperature. Okay, and that temperature is figured, come to by um, researchers measuring air temperatures on land and at sea at thousands of observation stations around the world, day in and day out. Then they add all those measurements up and divide the result by the number of observations taken. Then that gets to the average temperature for the whole globe. Okay? And this article ends with, a rise of a few degrees in temperature, meaning global average temperature, may not seem like that much, but according to NASA, during the last ice age, when northeastern North America was covered by more than 3,000 feet of ice, the global temperature was only 5 to 9 degrees cooler than it is today. So there is a huge difference in the planet when it is, you know, 50 to 60 degrees warmer as opposed to the temperature of the earth that we've been accustomed to today, or if it goes 5 to 6 degrees cooler. Okay? And it's not that, we wouldn't like to be basking in a warmer Arctic in Antarctica. I mean, there's articles here when Antarctica was a tropical paradise. This is a Guardian article from July 16th, 2011. Here's a CBS article. Uh, the North Pole was once tropical. And this is May 31st, 2006. Okay, so it is well established that the poles can be tropical. But the thing is the transition from the climate that we are accustomed to, the climate that provides for us, to a climate where we will have, you know, beautiful utopias at the poles. There will be massive weather chaos on a global scale. Okay. One thing that can happen is, how Earth maintains its global temperature is it's pretty simple. Okay. It's cold at the poles. Okay. And then it's hot at the equator. But though that cold and hot mixes from air and water circulation. Okay, every night on the weather map, you see which way the wind is blowing, and you watch storms move in, and they move warm air in, they move cold air in. Okay, that's the air part of it. The oceans play a massive part in keeping global temperature regulated to what we're accustomed to now. Okay, and that can change dramatically. if ocean circulation breaks down, which we'll talk about in a minute here. But, so the circulation of the air and the water temperature, it keeps everything so that we have, the planet that we have today, and we have an average global temperature. And before the Industrial Revolution, they said it was 57 degrees. Now they say it's 59 degrees, and I mean, this is the environmental education from 2010, right here, the sports from 2010. And, -6 degrees is a full on ice age, or you add some degrees in, and you're going to have tropical poles. But as I say, it is the transition from one climate to another climate that can be absolutely catastrophic to humans. Earth will survive. Okay, Earth has been here for 4.5 billion years. We are here for not even a blink of an eye. And the thing is, before, when Earth's temperature changed, okay, which it has many times, okay, over 4.5 billion years, it's changed many times. But before, when it changed, those changes took 10,000, tens of thousands, potentially 100,000 years, okay? And today, according to the experts, the warming is happening light years faster than that. The transition, if we are going to transition to, the utopia, that banned news network that will not give you good environmental information, wants you to believe is just a utopia, the transition to getting there, good luck surviving. And I mean, that's for real. Okay? And one of the things that keeps the heat from the tropics, okay, moving up to and warming up the poles, and then the poles, coming down and warming up and cooling down the tropics, is the ocean conveyor belt, okay? And this is called the ocean pump. When the water gets up top here, okay, the warm water from the tropics comes up here. The warm water from the tropics is like what keeps London and England and, Ireland much warmer than other places on the globe at that same latitude, because all of this warmth is coming up to them. Okay, it's not coming over here. It's not coming over here. So these places freeze, but at the same latitude, these places don't. Okay, and they rely on that because they are dependent upon the climate they have today. Now, this ocean pump, okay, when it gets up to the poles, the water becomes colder and denser, so it sinks. Okay, and that's why it's called the pump. That sinking causes the ocean circulation. And that water that sinks, it will go underwater to the depths of the Atlantic Ocean, and it will stay underwater, and it will be hundreds of years before it resurfaces at the tropics. So this tropical water comes up here. It helps keep these cold areas warm, and then this cold water goes underwater and it resurfaces in the tropics, and it helps cool down the tropics that could just overheat without it. Okay, and it is all a fine balance of this ocean pump continuing to work. Okay, there's a bunch of variables that could just turn the ocean pump off, and then that will change global temperature just instantly. Okay, so let me see. So the circulation is the Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation. The AMOC is part of the global circulation, thermohaline circulation in the oceans, and is the zonal integrated component of surface and deep currents in the Atlantic. It's characterized by a northward flow of warm, salty water in the upper layers of the Atlantic, and a southward flow of colder, deep waters. Okay? And it says that climate change has the potential to weaken the AMOC. And the thing is severe weakening of the AMOC has the potential to cause an outright collapse of the circulation, which would not be easily reversible and thus constitute one of the tipping points in the climate system. Okay? So to get to this utopia that they're just going, hey, if the world warms, oh my God, look what we have to look forward to. We can go to the Arctic and have the Summer Olympics. That's really not so fast. And the thing is, um, this ocean circulation system, it takes hundreds of years. And the Atlantic, when the water sinks, off the top of my head, I think it's like 300 years before it resurfaces at the poles again. And in the Pacific, it could be like 600 years. It's hundreds of years where the water that sinks just stays underneath and cools off. And then it resurfaces, and it is hundreds of years later, okay? Earth's processes move naturally at a slow rate. And if we go into forcing changes at the just astronomical rate that we are doing it today, it has the potential to cause an outright collapse in the ocean pump. And that would mean just a world that you don't know. The weather, you think that geoengineering makes the weather crazy? Let me tell you, the weather will be just, just, it will be geoengineering on steroids. Okay. It will not know what to do until it takes its own sweet time to settle in to a new climate. And Earth will survive. Earth has been here for 4.5 billion years. Okay. Its poles have been all ice. Okay. It's had ice all the way down to, the Carolinas, maybe Florida. Its poles have been tropical. Yes. Its poles have been tropical. But the change, the transition period, very much could be absolutely catastrophic to all living things, including humans. You no longer have reliable ways to grow food. You no longer have reliable anything. It will just be upheaval and just chaotic. And it's not what anybody wants to live through. Yeah, maybe you want to be born, a couple thousand years in the future when it all settles down and we're in a new climate, but you don't want to be here when the upheaval starts. Okay, you truly don't. Good luck. It's going to be like surviving economic collapse, surviving World War III. Good luck to all of us. Okay, but as I say here, Band News Network, they will not give you any good, real environmental information. And so while they're out here trying to paint this as a utopia that just, oh, well, look, oh my God, there's people talking about global warming. They're just like crazy, crazy. This is crazy to paint this as it's just a beautiful day that we can just change the temperature of this planet and and we're all still going to have everything that we've been accustomed to. Okay, because that is not true. Earth's systems have very fine balances. They've been in balance for a very long time. Allegedly, right now, that is being thrown off. Those balances are being thrown off. Do I know if it's real? No one knows if it's real. Okay? No one does. And besides the fact, it's irrelevant. Things, if it is warming, it could be because of natural cycles. But why take the chance? if we have any influence on it. It is truly in our best interest to stick with the climate that we know has given us a pretty good life. This space.com article says, Earth is in the Goldilocks zone, not too far from the sun, not too close either. The next closest planet is Venus, and its surface is more than 880 degrees Fahrenheit. Mercury doesn't even trap heat like Venus. Venus, it's loaded with greenhouse gases, but Mercury is 840 degrees Fahrenheit, and yet Mars is minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So right now, we are lucky that we are on this little gift of a planet. And we are lucky that we have climate that we can rely on. And it truly is in our best interest to try to keep it there. Okay? Utopia or not, it's not going to be utopia changing to this 50 to 60 degree warmer poles. Okay, so when you read things on all the independent media, remember, they won't give you any good climate information, just like all the propaganda just spews at you. Global warming, climate change, disaster, disaster. The independent media spews at you. It's not real, and we can do whatever we want. We can just abuse this planet. And look, they try to make it seem like it's no big deal. Well, let me tell you, getting between here and there is a big deal. And good luck surviving it. So stay tuned, people.